Thank you, Senator Hickenlooper and Senator Braun, for having this. This is much needed. If we had one of these hearings every week for the next 10 years, it probably wouldn't be enough. I spent 40 years in education. I'm here today because of education. I ran for the U.S. Senate for the state of Alabama because the last 20 years I've seen our education go in the wrong direction. Now, we've got the best education system in the world. We could be much better. For some reason, we won't change. We won't do the things that we need to do to make it better for the kids that are coming up. We're different than the kids nowadays. We were different. We had different goals. We had different opportunities. Now we have cyber, we have computer science, we have all those things going along with it. But the main thing that we need to do, in my perspective of watching over 40 years, is what Ms. Curry said a little earlier. We've got to expose people to something that they want to do. Because when I got up every day after I graduated from college and I went to work coaching and teaching, I loved every minute of it. And I enjoyed it. And I think I did a pretty good job at it because I liked it. And that's what we have to do with these kids nowadays. Ms. Navarro hit it right on the head, talking about, just seeing the smile on her face. She's excited about doing something. So we have to do something about education. When I ran, I talked to groups all across the state of Alabama, home builders, road builders, bridge builders. Coach, we can't find people to work. Well, you better start educating your own because our education system doesn't educate people anymore. We indoctrinate. We bring them in and we don't teach the things they need to teach to use their hands. Folks, we better start teaching people to use their hands instead of just their brains. We got to do that. And that's what you're talking about today with apprenticeships and coming in and learning a skill and having a great life, because you can have a great life and you can also have fun doing it. So I'm here today because of that. So I want to thank you, Ms. Curry. We've got a community college, Lawson State Community College in Alabama, that has one of your partnerships. How does this partnership really work? How do you get involved with a community college?
So thank you, Senator. We have actually 5 FAME partnerships in your state. And, the coalition, which is the Federation of Advanced Manufacturing, we pull together small, medium, and large businesses. We actually market to all the businesses with the school system, and we look at the curriculum of the school system and we help change that curriculum to meet the business needs. So, we have over 400 companies, small, medium, and large, with 32 different community colleges that are involved in our advanced manufacturing technician program. And, it is, like I said, ran by Manufacturing Institute now. It's nationalized. It works very well because we also teach the teacher, and we also bring them into to our businesses and let them see what is needed. So to get that partnership, the Manufacturing Institute is the conduit to help bring more chapters in. And we actually, since the pandemic in 2021, we've already initiated 9 more chapters. So it is definitely something that is out there. It's very easy to get a hold of on the Manufacturing Institute. So a website, and anyone can be a partner, and we can help them with these types of chapters.
Thank you, Mr. Ginsburg. I know CareerWise has a technical assistance contract with Birmingham Promise Initiative in Alabama. In programs like this one, what are apprentices paid?
So it differs, but certainly, obviously, at the minimum wage. But what we're seeing is around $15, $16 even before the pandemic, because companies saw the value and wanted to make the investment. What's more importantly, though, is they're graduating from their apprenticeship earning $45,000 to $55,000. So it's an apprenticeship wage. In a registered model, you have to increase that wage as the competency increases. So this is a path not just to the middle class, but actually beyond.
I can remember graduating from college back in 1976. my parents spent a lot of money for that scholarship. Back then, it was a lot of money for what we spent. My first contract teaching school and coaching was $8,500 a year. We've come a long way. You're talking 50, 55,000 for apprenticeship, and we're fortunate to have jobs like this where people can train on the job. How many hours a week they usually work?
It ranges from, in their first year, 16 hours a week in the business, second year, 3 days a week, and then it can go to full or part-time depending on post-secondary options.
What's your percentage of success rate? You know, people staying in your programs?
So obviously we're nascent. We've now graduated 2 cohorts of apprentices. Of nearly 1,000 apprentices are in the program currently nationally. Over 200 businesses, ranging from small businesses like the companies in Goshen in Indiana, as well as large companies like J.P. Morgan Chase in New York. What we're seeing in those 2 full cohorts is that the equity promise of apprenticeship is rising, meaning that that cement ceiling that I believe exists above students that may not come from the same opportunity or the right zip code, and they're gaining jobs that pay middle-class wages early on. So I would tell you the percentages are in the 30, 40%, but we're early on of those that graduate and matriculate. Another 20, 30% will continue on with post-secondary education, which we view as a win simply because they've already spent 2 years in the practical learning that takes place in the workplace that then is married to the theoretical. What's also important is the companies are reporting that an apprentice is 91% as efficient, productive as a regular employee. Think about that. A high school student trained through an apprenticeship, coming out of that apprenticeship is already 91% as effective. The students themselves are finding almost 100%, saying because of their apprenticeship, like Mrs. Navarro, she has the opportunity to get a credential and move on to post-secondary education. Almost all of our apprentices are seeing that. This is a path of opportunity, a path of options.
Yeah, and one thing I'd like to say about it is it gives them the opportunity to continue their education and really enjoy it. Probably our panel up here doesn't really understand some of our education. If you look at the direction that we're headed, in public schools, as we speak today, half the kids cannot read over the 6th grade reading level. And apprenticeships will teach them and encourage them to continue to learn to read, to learn to write, and do all those things. So I think that's another very important aspect of this point.
Senator, you are right on. You're hitting the nail on the head. What we are seeing with our apprentices that are not reading at grade level, sometimes many grade levels below, is once they start an apprenticeship and they can see where that math is important, that reading is important, how you write an email or professional letter, they come up to grade level faster than they would in the classroom. So you're 100% right. And you're also right. Students, when they find their passion, like you did, like I was fortunate to do, it accelerates their life and the potential that they have as a young person and a contributing member of our country, of our society.
Thank you. Sorry for going over, Mr. Chairman.
No, that's okay. That was a great last question and answer. I wouldn't have missed it for the world.